Started with the meeting. First item on the agenda is the agenda, and I would like to, the chair would like to entertain a motion to add item F, make item F an executive session to discuss some potential property contractual.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Ayes. Thank you, Zeb. Ayes have it. Minutes, you received the minutes several days ago. Are there any changes to the minutes? If not, and if there are no objections, they'll stand approved as presented. Committee reports. Ms. Marlowe.
Good morning. I'll leave part of this for a lot of this for Allison and Meredith, but yesterday we received, we met the new design planner that has been hired, Doug Monk, I believe is his Money?
Mund with the D.
And
that too.
And his firm coming up from Savannah, and had a wonderful conversation with them, and they had toured the property and toured the ships and toured everything and looked at the exhibits and the tour routes and everything, and are very excited to be redesigning a new experience for the people here that is a more focused one than sort of just the little maps that take you all over the ship. So that's very exciting, and it was so it was long enough that y'all just don't want me to start. But anyway, I'm sure she can put it in parentheses and tell you about it. Anyway, so that was exciting, and we'll be hearing lots more about that. And then in education, once again, the numbers are up. Up even more than February, and certainly more than last year. The blended numbers of students that we touched or that we dealt with in February was 543, and those are the students that come here and the program is taken out to their schools. The self-guided students that came were 54, fifth graders 408, and then the Flight Academy had 138 people come. So those are all wonderful, and lots of good comments and feedback on all of those education programs. Thank you, Keith. And the first full week of March, we actually anticipate over 600 students will participate in the program, and are booked solid to the middle of May. As far as the Flight Academy, the state procurement process for the new Flight Academy simulators is moving along. We're optimistically hopeful to put the contract out to bid by the end of the month. And the renovations of the Flight Academy, that's the current one we have now, are almost complete. In education, our first 4 professional development programs will be conducted today. So that's when the teachers come, and Keith does a class for them, and they are awarded, I guess, still graduate or hours, 4 hours of recertification credit. Next week, Charleston County Curriculum and District Cabinet members will conduct a site visit. We hope, with the State Department's blessing, to enter into a collaboration agreement in the development of future mini professional development programs that can be offered to teachers throughout the state. One option may be to have our staff travel to the state to offer the program to those teachers restricted by travel requirements, travel to the upper part of the state. So Keith's very busy, and always so many good things we hear about what's going on in education. Meredith has reported from the museum and the Department of Collections and Curatorial Affairs the Facility Design Master Plan, DMDG2, who is Mr. Mundy, Doug Mundy, that I referred earlier. That's the firm. Began their site visit and assessment with Patriots Point on March the 13th and 14th. And this, again, kicks off the master plan process. Women's History Month. A new installation of women's World War II uniforms is on view outside of the Smoky Stover Theater. The exhibit features WASPs, Waves, and Naval Nurse Corps and highlights of their stories. These stories of the men and women who served as we celebrate Women's History Month. The exhibit will remain on view through Memorial Day weekend. Library and officers' berthing restoration. The library restoration is in process with a tentative opening in April 2024. Officers' berthing restoration has completed painting, and the crew is working on repairs of lighting fixtures, cabinetry, and bed rails. The curatorial staff has been sourcing period artifacts to stage through the compartments. As far as the collection digitization project, you know what they're going to do. The curatorial team is working on the website launch preparation, compiling stories, and curating collection groups that will be featured on the website. The team will continuously release new artifacts and archival material onto the site monthly. And then in the Vietnam Experience Restoration, which has commenced, the work has commenced to replace the boardwalks. And the Quonset hut ceiling is going to be reinforced next week. And the other structural repairs that I think we've all seen will begin throughout the site.
Questions of Susan? Thank you, Susan. I'd like to echo that. Were you going to say something?
No, I was just clear.
I'd like to echo that yesterday's session was excellent, and I appreciate those of you who joined us for that. And we'll have to get them with you, Mayor and Zeb, and let them pick y'all's brains too.
Okay.
But we had a good session. Went extremely well. A couple of things, just point out quickly. Most of the details from our development meeting yesterday were, or you can get the details in the board report that went out a few days ago. Just a reminder, the Medal of Honor ceremony on the Laffey on the 25th, Vietnam Veterans Day, 29th. Just keep those on the calendar. And I just wanted to note too, because it's sort of interesting, I found it interesting yesterday that Matt was telling us about our sponsorships with the Stingrays and the River Dogs, and apparently they have become very, very popular sponsorships. So that's pretty cool, I think, for those home games. The other thing is that we would like, we talked in development committee yesterday and are recommending to the board a revamp of some ticket pricing. It's been 3 years since we've considered any tickets. So what I'd like to do is call on Chris to sort of run through some key points for you.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I feel like it's much easier and better to present this way than over there while kind of wandering around. But thank you, Wayne. Yesterday we had a really great meeting with the development committee about ticket pricings and the layout of our tickets and what we do there. And it kind of stems from our website. If you remember last year, we brought a proposal to the board to invest money in a new website. It's been probably more than 10 years since we did a website. And with that project, it's going really well. Thank you again for approving it. It'll do a lot for this museum and agency as a whole. But as we're rounding second, kind of in baseball terms with the River Dogs, we're talking about ways to get people on the website and improve everything that we do on there. There's so many things that we can use it for. So as I did some research, I noticed a lot of things that we could bring and talk about to make us better. One of those things that I noticed is the amount of money that we were paying in credit card fees, $167,000 a year in credit card fees. And as we process more tickets and eventually move up and up in our numbers, that's going to increase more and more. We also have more ticketing options than any other museum ship that's out there. And 90% of our customers that we have are buying tickets at the ticket window, which puts a lot of pressure on us for staffing and for material costs for ticketing area. And then, like Wayne said, historically we've raised or increased the price of tickets every 2 to 3 years by $2 to $3, and it's been since 2021 since we did that. And these are our current ticket prices that we offer. So we have adults are 27, veterans 21, first responders 21, teachers, seniors, active duty, child. You can see all the different price points. Some of them seem easy to confuse. You know, you got active duty and retired, then you have a veteran, you have first responders. And it's hard on our ticketing staff when people go up there and they ask a lot of questions and they're trying to figure out which bucket they fit in. And then also I've listed the total discount that it is towards ticketing, which is it costs a hefty amount of money to offer these discounts. This is where we fit in with other Charleston attractions, and so you can see, we typically review these. We want to be as competitive as we can, and you can see the smaller amount of tickets that everybody offers, and the blank spots, they're blank purposely because they're not offered. And so you see where we fall with the other ones. I also want to call attention to a new competitor that we have, another fellow attraction in Scrape Museum. The International African American Museum is open since the last time we've raised prices too. So that's kind of where we are at in the grand scheme of Charleston attractions. This is where Patriots Point sits with other museum ships. And so you can see the Intrepid in New York is $36 for admission. The Midway is $34 for admission in San Diego. And the USS Lexington is in a very different market than I would compare Charleston to down in Corpus Christi, Texas. Is $20.95. But what you'll see the Midway does really well is they offer two different prices. There's one in person and there's one online. And that's the kind of model that I wanted to talk about yesterday, to try to get people to buy their tickets online and move that 10% of people that buy tickets to a much higher number. And to do that, incentivize it so that they can save money going online. There's a lot of reasons to do that because, there's the obvious one of getting people to have their tickets before they get here, which is great and reduces lines, improves the visitor experience, and improves our ability to get data on our marketing campaigns to make them as efficient as we can. But it also gives us a chance to inform them about things, inform them about our Operation Overnight program, to inform them about what we do in education and the collections we have and the exhibits that we're building, and to get a lifelong supporter with them with the Friends of Fleet Pass or with the exposing them to the Yorktown Foundation, ways to give or participate. So there's a lot of ways to do that, and of course the increased revenue by talking about these tickets. Over the last few years, we've got a lot of pressure from increased wages so that we can be competitive and hire the right amount of staff to be able to operate. And that's just one area of operating costs that have improved and increased. So as Wayne said, we had a really good discussion in the rates that the Development Committee is recommending are listed here on the screen. So we have a dollar increase across the board, and it will cost you $2 more than that if you wait and buy tickets here in person. So we think that this is a great way to start to get people to buy their tickets before they get here, and over the years shift that 10% that buy tickets online to a much better number, the 30, 40, and eventually hopefully a much higher number than that, to where almost everybody buys their tickets before they come. And then just to wrap up, and if you don't have time to see this, I can send this to anybody who wants more information on it. But you'll see that the new buckets are adults, there's seniors, there's children, South Carolina teachers, first responders, and the military as a whole. And military in uniform, and that's how we'll describe this. Military in uniform, as always, are free. So there's no change there whatsoever. And then just to wrap up and summarize, why we're doing this: increase those web sales, decrease the staffing needs and pressure, increase the web visitors, and create opportunities to inform and upsell customers. That's really important to make sure that somebody comes, they understand that they can buy a captain's tour or an add-on with the flight simulator or a photo before they come. It's much easier to sell that, and people can plan and be excited as they come. And with drip campaigns, we can reach them several times before they get here to tell them about road work or construction notices of things that they should be prepared for when they come. And then obviously to generate the revenue to cover the credit card fees and increased operating costs. So that was a great discussion. I appreciate the leadership from the Development Committee to help guide us as we go forward. And if you guys would approve this, we can have it done within the next month and be prepared to not only to push the website when it launches, but also in the next fiscal year.
Thank you, Chris. As a committee resolution, it does not require a second. Are there any discussion, Mayor?
And I haven't thought about this a lot. Y'all probably went through this. On the thing about the military, or even, I don't know about veterans, but let's say military. No, I was thinking about veterans because military, if they wear their uniform, it's free, but if they don't wear it, they're going to pay a reduced price.
Correct.
So I'm just having a little trouble with that. In other words, what if it's just free for military, active duty military, that they prove what with a military ID? Especially, we're getting ready to get more than 1,000 new Coast Guard personnel here, because we still charge their families though, right? So wouldn't we get 2, 3, 4 maybe other people if we just said all military is free? I mean, it's kind of like a discount for what you're wearing instead of who you are. You're still a member of the armed forces on active duty, no matter what you're wearing at that moment. And it's just a thought that came across my mind. We'll still be getting, probably for most of them, their family, will be paying.
If
I might have looked at that.
If it helps to put perspective in the amount of tickets, I did pull some ticket numbers in case this came up. Active duty and retired military tickets, it was a total of 12,591. I could go back more into that bucket and tell you exactly how many active duty, but we do need to potentially be aware that a large majority of our customers are affiliated with military. A lot of them are active duty. And so, if you just take that bucket and you multiply it by the ticket price, that would be a little bit more than $300,000 with that specific ticket item. So that's always something to consider. We get a lot of questions about, especially veterans, why aren't everybody free? But in our case, that's such a large majority of our customership, it definitely would come with a cost.
James?
I just want to add, because I remember going to the Intrepid, and it was free and they actually, it was free for my family. They must get some of the funding because they let it, no matter retired, active or not, and then you get 5 people to come in with you, so you actually can bring your. But they're the only ones I think that do that. I don't think any.
Yes, sir. They're the only ones that do that. And a lot of times, just like you're saying, there's some
They get funding or
chance to have a sponsor or something that sets off that cost. So admission provided by, Boeing.
They're a 501c3
Right.
and they have a very dynamic development program and sponsorship.
it's just a thought.
Any other thoughts on this? Is there a motion or Mayor, Pat?
Well, I'd like to make a motion that I respect what you said, sir, but that we accept as presented by Chris, those fees.
That's already on the floor.
Yeah.
And
From the committee.
Well,
I would just add the point, which I think the committee was very conscious of, is making military veterans the lowest price. So we did change,
Okay.
children and others, so that it at least reflected that the most favored treatment was to military veterans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Is there any other discussion?
When would this go into effect?
They say they could have it in effect in April.
Okay.
Well, when we talked about the people in uniforms just coming aboard the ship, a lot of times when they're in uniform, they're with a group or an occasion or an event,
Right.
which they just, I don't know how they do it, but they kind of bypass and just, it's like an invitation. So I kind of took it that way. It's just justified that sort of in writing of them not paying anything. And as far as how they trickle aboard, in uniform, I don't know how what that number even looks like. Is that a lot of people?
And I'm not sure, Chris, do you know how many actually do come in uniform? How many comp tickets?
I can pull the exact amount. It's a few thousand, but and also it's good to know that we've never had anybody. The biggest complaints are from veterans, not active duty.
Okay.
And that's just because there were so many different ticket line items that they felt like they should. And we discussed that a lot, especially making sure we included the Coast Guard or National Guard. That was a big change that we have never discussed before, is how to include them in these promotion discounts.
And just
Yeah,
one
maintain.
other point, which I think we corrected, which was really good. Veterans were a separate category from retired, so you could both be a veteran and retired. And I could see how some would say, you know, that that's kind of inconsistent, and rolled everything like everybody else has, rolled all those categories into one, and then made it the most favorable treated group.
Any other discussion? Does he have anything?
Good. Sounds good, Wayne.
Okay,
I'm tracking.
all in favor of the resolution as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Okay, thank you all very much. Finance?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Couple of things. Our cash continues to increase. Since the last measurement, we were at 14,134,000. We're now at 14,837,000. Our cash increase is a little over $700,000. All the categories that we measure, attendance, gift shop, lease, camping revenue, parking, are reasonably flat. So we're doing pretty doggone good financially, having that kind of an increase. One other minor thing, we still owe $5.7 million to the state on the Laffey loan, but think about it, that's come down substantially. And so a little bit less than 5 years, we will have that loan completely paid off. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Norman. Any questions about finance? If not,
I might be getting into an executive session thing. I was just wondering, speaking of the state, is the money that is being spent on the mitigation, like we're having that press conference next week, that's not coming to Patriots Point, right? That's
No.
going to the
No.
resiliency.
that's right. That's through the,
It's going to school.
completely through the score.
Okay.
Correct.
None of it
Correct.
is coming
No.
through Patriots Point.
No, it's directly there. They handle the project. They manage the project.
Right. You know where I'm going with it.
100%, and you're right on there. I mean, I think the separation there is fundamental, and it is their project, and we're
Not
very
ours.
grateful for it.
Right.
It's not ours.
I mean,
And then the money we have on hand is committed to our capital maintenance
Right.
effort. I mean, so there's not like we're awash with.
I thought that was the case, but I just want to make sure that I understood
No,
where all
that's-
those dollars are going.
that's right. That's correct.
I'm not
You're
gonna let
correct.
it get away.
Okay. Executive Director's report. Allison?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. You probably have noticed that every month I like to start my executive director's report off with a thank you to an acknowledgement of a team that has really excelled in the previous month, and for this month I would like to thank the board. You all have a bit of a thankless job, and you volunteer your time and your expertise, and you share your wisdom with us, and you're always available. And especially this month, our meeting, as Ms. Marlowe referred to, we met yesterday with the DMDG2, who is doing the facilities master plan, and the board met with them, and we just opened it up to thoughts and ideas for the board to share feedback, and the feedback was incredible, and you all had really amazing insight and great ideas, and really provided some powerful guidance for that team to move forward. So thank you so much for that. It was a great session, and I think it really put them on the right path, and it was nice. Everybody was really aligned. So thank you very much for the great work that you all do. We appreciate
We
it.
appreciate the opportunity to weigh
Yeah.
in at
Yeah.
Yes,
that
sir.
place and time.
Exactly.
We
You're welcome.
appreciate that.
Of course, absolutely. And I'll just move through a few things quickly. Again, to echo what the chairman said, a few significant upcoming dates. And you'll see that we have put together a list of annual events here, and we took that to committee and we got some good notes on that. So we're going to make a few changes to this, but I wanted you to see sort of the format that we're working on. So some of these are on here. So in honor of National Medal of Honor Day on March the 24th, that's the Sunday. We will have tours. Our volunteers have been trained to give tours of Medal of Honor sites and artifacts and recipients throughout the museum. So they will be doing that for the public on Sunday. We will also have a book signing. The author, John Siegfried, who has written a book about Medal of Honor recipient Mike Crescents, will be doing a book signing on the Sunday, on National Medal of Honor Commemoration Day on March the 25th. Our official ceremony will be held on the Laffey this year. The Laffey was named in honor of Medal of Honor recipient Bartlett Laffey. And we are pleased to have the ceremony kick off there with that marks the 80th anniversary of the Laffey, as well as the 161st anniversary of the awarding of the first Medal of Honor. We will have at least one Medal of Honor recipient on site for that. And very looking very forward to having that ceremony at 10 a.m. on Monday, March 25th. We also have on March the 29th, Vietnam War Veterans Day is coming up. That will be at 11 o'clock. Our guest of honor and speaker is General Livingston, who will be there for that. Just an awareness that Gold Star Spouses Day is April the 5th. On April the 12th, our Laffey Work Party will come back in from April 12th through April the 20th. And they just do a great job. They come in like a house of fire and spend the week and get so many great projects done. We will have on April the 16th, we will have a memorial ceremony for the Battle of Okinawa, the kamikaze attacks. That will be the kickoff. That will be at 9:30 on the morning of the 16th, and that will be the kickoff for our year of activities in honor of Laffey's 80th. So we will start with that, and then we will have an event on D-Day. We will also have programs and exhibits throughout the year that will be coming live on the Laffey. Mr. Smith has been kind enough to chair that committee for us, and we've had a great meeting. We've got a lot getting underway. That will conclude next April 16th on the 80th anniversary of the Battle of Okinawa kamikaze attacks. So lots more to come on the Laffey's events. And then finally, we have Race Week is coming up in April 17th through the 21st. Looking very forward to having lots of sailors on board, and we've been working very hard on planning for that this year. As you know, it is a collaborative event. It's a partnership with Charleston Race Week, so very excited about that. Another, just a little update, we had our annual volunteer trip happen this last week. So every year our volunteers take a trip. This is a way for us to thank them for all that they do at Patriots Point. So this year they went to, they headed south and went to the Mayport Naval Station in Mayport, Florida, to the Port Columbus Civil War Naval Museum in Columbus, Georgia, and to the Mighty 8th Air Force Museum in Pooler, Georgia. I have heard good reports, and I've also heard that what happens on the volunteer trip stays on the volunteer trip. So finally, just one last announcement that I'm excited to make. We have as you all know, we're using the harbor room, that area. That will be part of the Flight Academy when we eventually move to that space. As part of the remediation project, they use part of that space where they set up their offices in that space. So we've had to push the Flight Academy project back, but it has opened up the harbor room. So what we are going to do is we're going to offer the harbor room as a meeting space for veterans groups. So any veterans group that would like to hold their meetings in that space, we'll provide that space for them free of charge. And they can have up to 30 people in there. We'll set it up for them however they'd like to set it up. and they come during business hours, so we are able to accommodate that. But it's just a really nice opportunity to engage our community, to engage our veterans, to give them an opportunity to come on board the ship. So we're very excited to be able to open this up, and we're wrapping up a few little things in there. We're doing some things to make the room attractive, and so it'll be a nice place to meet, a nice place to utilize. But we should be opening that up by April 1st to veterans groups.
Right.
And that's what I have.
Is that all?
Trying to keep it brief.
Any questions of Allison? Seeing none, thanks, Allison. Any public comments? Seeing none, if there, Chair will entertain a motion to move into executive session.
So moved.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
For which purpose?
Aye.
I'm sorry, for, to discuss some potential contractual issues on property. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We'll take about 5 minutes.
Yeah, you are right. That's good.
I got one guy.
Back up. Okay, back in open session, no votes were taken in executive session. Is there any other business to come before the board? Seeing none, our next meeting is April 19th, 2024. Of course, remember the Medal of Honors ceremony on the Laffey on the 25th, Vietnam Veterans Day, the 29th. And there's nothing else. We stand adjourned. Thank you so much for your time.
What's
and your input.
the middle of
Good luck on all that.
Sure. I hate to be
What is it?
No,
Good stuff,
we
man.
were.
It's the Medal of
It's
Honor
good.
Day, so
Oh,
we're also commemorating that.